Okay, so offsite SEO and a recap. So SEO is a mishmash of domain authority, page authority, header and title tags, content, domain age, images, how long people stay on the site, if the page is or the site is shared on social media. It's all these different factors. Google is super smart and they mishmash it all together and they figure out what to rank where. And we're going to review all these at the end and it'll make more sense. But I just want you to I just want to refer back to all the stuff we've covered as we move forward. So now we need to talk about offsite SEO, which is really where the competitive stuff happens. Because you can do a lot on your own site, but this is about other people's sites. So this is what we call link building. And the real trick here is sites linking to yours. And these days it's much more challenging, but this is where the real SEO work is done and where the money is. And this is how you boost your authority. You will respect my authority. That was terrible, I know, I'm sorry. But this is how you boost your authority. So what's a link in the first place? You ever read an article on a blog and you click on a highlighted word and it takes you to another website? That is a link. This is an example. These are links that go to my website from an article that was published on another site. So links come from other websites. And it's kind of like getting your brother or a friend to vouch for you so that you're cool so you can get into that party or the club. So I'm going to start with the most money thing and where it's really at to get quality links, and it's called guest blogging. So guest blogging is the most powerful and quality strategy to earn quality relevant links to your site. Guest blogging is when someone on one blog lets you contribute an article to their blog. You can provide a quality piece of writing useful to their readers, and in exchange they provide you with a link or two back to your blog. Now this still works great. This is what I use, this is what I'm using with my clients, but it's been abused like everything. Remember the keyword stuffing and the link building and all that stuff I was telling you about? So back, modern SEO. So Google has crushed what they call link building schemes. Most ways of tricking them by building automatic links. In the old days, you could say, here's $100, link to my site. And someone had a really powerful website, and you put a link up, and boom, your site will go up. So now Google killed that. So now the sites that have the domain authority are like the popular kids, and everybody wants their attention and links from their site, and it's an SEO cluster. You know what? So companies from India and SEO companies, they often send out mass emails to blog owners trying to get them to link to client sites. And they can, I say it's modern SEO is like modern online dating. It's like OkCupid. By the way, this is an example of a bad message on OkCupid. Like, this is a real message some guy wrote. I know you probably don't understand what I'm saying, but I gotta tell you, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. I'd like to strip you down and butter you like a slice of Wonder Bread and shave your armpits and pour honey all over your naked body. And for the next 2 weeks, pretend I was a hungry bear. This is terrible. I hope I didn't offend you with this. But bloggers are like women on that site, okay? So you imagine that you get an email like this and you're just like, oh my God, save me from these terrible, terrible men and people on this site. If you own a blog, you're getting messages that are like, hi, my name is so-and-so. I work for this company. Would you like some content? It's going to be great. All I need is for you to link to my website. Or someone just going to say, I would like to submit a guest post in your site. Please see file attached. I hope you can consider publishing it. Which is kind of like, let's have sex without having dinner first, I really enjoy your website. Do you accept guest posts? I would like to submit a keyword-rich original content to your web blog on inbound marketing. Since inbound marketing is taking over the world of marketing, this post will definitely go viral. I can send over an original SEO tailored post with 100 words SAP. For any post, I require 10 backlinks to my website. Don't miss out on this epic blog post opportunity. You'll regret it. So I imagine you just like, you have you're a pet fan and you've created you've put love and attention into your blog. And you've created this wonderful, wonderful blog, and now Google's giving it lots of authority. Suddenly all these leeches show up and they're like, give us a link, give us a link, give us a link. Well, that's kind of the state of guest blogging in many cases. So the basic idea is to be real and connect with bloggers in your niche or the niche, where your client is. And here's some examples of email I've gotten when I've written nice letters to people. Someone says, first of all, love your intro, Seth. It's a breath of fresh air to have someone actually check you out instead of claiming they have done so. Speaking of which, I'd like to add the example of how to connect the right way to a post. And then I wrote to Pat Flynn, who's a huge blogger and smart passive income. Thanks for the email and congrats on the success of your site. That's awesome. Film is high on my interest list. I do like your story. I will put your name on a list I have. Let's connect in the future. So I just wrote, there's a whole art form to this, but just, who do I say? I'll get more into how to contact bloggers and what to say, but it's like etiquette class, just approach real people, show that you've actually checked out their site and you have something real to contribute to them. I'll show you some examples of what I've done, but just like, don't be a jerk. Just like, be nice, be real. Don't just be like, I want to use you for your website. And that's kind of half the battle. And it's amazing because there's people at SEO companies who just are clueless. They don't know how to do this. And again, you think SEO is all this technical stuff. It's not. It's really about building relationships and content. So I wrote a letter to this woman, Marianne, I wanted to get, let's see if I put that on there. So yeah, I wanted to, and I might repeat it a few times, my client here, we don't sell too many of these, but we definitely do garages, right? So I said, who uses a garage? RV owners. RV owners need to build big metal garages. So I found a bunch of these blogs by RV owners, and I'm still doing this. That's weird. So I found these guys, and I said, this looks like a nice, and this is not a huge high authority site, but it's, it's a pretty decent site. It's like, it's a trustworthy site because it's small and it's real. It's obviously not a spam site. It's got a 31 or 41 domain authority. That's pretty good. And I looked in here and I was like, oh, she's got some guest posts. So I said, hey, do you want us to, write an article for your blog? And she wrote, Seth, I have not generally been accepting guest posts for various reasons. Too focused on self-promotion, written by paid writers with no personal RV experience, and offering nothing new or of value. See? But you sound genuine in your topic is one I don't think has been over-reported. So there it is. I just said, hey, this is a cool thing that would be helpful for your readers, and I'll show you the email in a little bit. But that's it. Just be cool. So but now the big questions are, how do I find the blogs to try to get published or links from, how to determine their value, how to create the link, and how to write a good blog post? And these are good questions, but before we start brainstorming, let's learn a little more about link building in Google. So Google is freaking smart. Duh. They can now detect what we call natural link building signals. So back in the old days, remember back in the good old link stuffing days, keyword stuffing days, you could build 10,000 links in 3 days and Google would be like, oh my God, this website's amazing. Look at how popular it is. And they'd say you're number one. But now, no way. If you do that, it's too fast. It's not natural. Google will slam your ass to the bottom of the search results. Google has ways of determining these patterns, and you can get slapped. They call it Google slap if you violate these patterns by building too fast or aggressively. So don't buy links, especially from freaking this type of like ad. Many companies are still selling high authority links, but Google can always figure them out. And this happened to me a few years ago, and it was terrible. I bought one link, and I got this terrible message you never want to see, which was, we've detected that some of your sites may be using techniques that are outside of Google's webmaster guidelines. Unnatural links. Oh my God. My site at the time was crushing it. I was ranking so high. I actually got a lawsuit from threat from New York Film Academy because I was ranking on page 1 for the term New York Film Academy. And then I bought a link. I got greedy, and boom, my search results just crapped out. And eventually I got it fixed. But the thing is that let's say you have a site that's like brand new, right? I'm just going to explain this. You have a site that's brand new. You have like no links. or maybe one link. And then suddenly you get a link from like a DA90 site, and then a link from an 89, site. Or these guys are advertising something they call PageRank. PageRank is a metric that Google used to use. And it was PageRank from 1 to 10. You'll still see that. It's kind of like domain authority. 1 being like nothing and 10 being like what Google is. But if you just suddenly randomly get these super high powered links, Google's going to say, what the hell? How did this website go from 0 to this, huge links in 2 days? That's not natural. Boom. You stink. So that's why you don't buy links. It's got to look natural. You got to do things and buy a nice little link here, get a nice little link there, and build it up naturally. Because just think about it. Let's say you've got a real website and you've got a cool new cupcake shop, and you make delicious cupcakes. Well, you might get listed in a newspaper article or in a directory where they say, hey, these are some of the coolest new bakeries in town. Or there's going to be a blog with the top 10 coolest desserts, or there's a post on great presents to get your girlfriend. You might have a Yellow Pages listing. You get featured in a cool YouTube video. You might have a profile listing on the Chamber of Commerce or Restaurant Association. You might contribute a recipe to a foodie blog, and they'll link to you. So that's what we call link diversity. It's where there's just many different naturally occurring links coming to your website. And you just got to, again, this isn't highly technical. This isn't like engineering. This is just like common sense when you think about it. It's like, oh, yeah, a real website would have links from all those places if people are legitimately sharing it and they actually make good cupcakes. And that's what you want to think about with your client site. That's why buying links or just building the same type of link over and over, or buying like 20 of those high authority links, Google immediately says this is not real. So that was link diversity. I know I just went over it in like 5 and 30 seconds. Link diversity. Just think of it natural. Just think natural, natural, natural. Now the next step is what we call anchor text. So anchor text is the text on top of the link. And let's see, I'll like this. So this is our article here. Anchor text is right here. This is my article right here. Anchor text is Buck Steel. That's the name of our company, and it's clicking over to the link at Buck Steel. Anchor text here is Steel Building Buyer's Guide, and it also clicks over to our website. So anchor text is the text on top of the link. So over here it says like Chicago Dentist, and you can see in the code Chicago Dentist. That's known as anchor text. And just so you can see it here, you can actually see, I like to look at the page source. So you see how we have the link here, and then it says Steel Building Buyer's Guide here. That's the anchor text. So in the old days, Google used anchor text to determine rankings. And this is how it used to go. Let's say you wanted to rank for Samsung 4K TV. You get a lot of links that right here would say Samsung 4K TV over and over and over again. And Google would just say, oh, it's got the keyword in the anchor text. Boom, must be a relevant site. These guys are great. And then they realize, wait a minute, that's not true. So now that's a bad idea. Google wised up and realized that that's a fake. You get 10,000 links all from the same kind of sites, and they all say Samsung 4K TV, and you could rank, but not now. Now Google analyzes what the anchor text says. Are you trying to game them, or is it natural? It's a combination of link diversity and diverse anchor text. So I'm going to see if I have this example here. So the point is there's something called over-optimization. So if you have too many exact match links for your keyword, if you stuff keywords in the copy or in the title tags, Google sees this and knocks you down. And this still happens with SEO companies. They still don't get it. And I know that because the company I took over for had screwed up our client's account. Google gives examples of what they consider link schemes. I have a link to that page. But knowing this is incredibly powerful and separates you from many SEO hacks. And I'm going to give you some examples. Oh, and this is the last thing before I give you the examples. Excuse me. Site relevancy. So Google also figured out that people building links were from totally unrelated sites. For example, you run a blog on dog training and you're getting all these links from an iPad review site with exact match anchor links. So somebody on an iPad site is linking, doing all these links that say dog training, dog training, dog training. It looks very fishy. And it's okay if you get links from directories and general sites with many categories. Like let's say you run a site on Ultimate Frisbee and you get a link from a blog on cool things to do in Utah. That makes sense. You run a food blog, you get links from other food blogs or food-related sites. Now the ideal is something like this. Like my film school solution page, which is here. So this is my film school solution website, which honestly, there is a lot of content on the homepage. I don't know why it's loading so slowly. But this is like a very thin site. There's only 1 or 2 pages on the site. And I don't know why our internet's running so slow. But what's cool is the links it does have are from nofilmschool.com and filmschoolsecrets.com. And that those are very relevant sites because they're all about film. So that is an example. Now, this is my client's lame link profile. And what bothered me is, they paid an SEO company for 2 years. This happens all the time. This is why if you're a good person, if you're passionate and you learn this stuff, companies will love you. They paid this SEO company thousands of dollars every month for 2 years, and these guys did a terrible job. They listed them mostly from pages that had a lot of links to other websites, which diminishes the value. It's okay to have directory links, but I think I'm going to see. I think I have so I'm going to show you some of those examples. But this is what we call exact anchor text. So prefab metal building, steel building, steel building, steel building, steel buildings. It's okay to have a few of those, but there were just way too many of them. And in some cases, they actually said steel metal buildings, which is completely unnatural, and Google can pick up on that. So this was the type of link that we got. So this one they screwed up. The anchor text was S for some reason, which is just creepy and a mistake. But this was on a page with literally hundreds of links. It had some authority, but I mean, look, you got tile imaging, wagon wheel fixtures, and then us. It's just not a very, this is an okay link if it's just one time, but they did a bunch like this. They were on a random plumbing site in the UK, nowhere near our business. It's again on a link page. This page has some authority, but it's just kind of a ghetto link. Again, the links have decent page authority, but they're long link pages. It was a lousy SEO company, and they used, again, exact match. So the last thing I'm going to mention, just so you understand this is about SEO, is no follow versus do follow. Now, no follow is a piece of code that basically says, hey, don't pass any domain authority juice onto this link. And it's kind of a buzzkill because you're like, oh my God, I got this great link, and then it's no follow. You're like, oh. And I found a few of those. Now, it still does pass on authority. It's just less. The old days, you could make a comment on a blog and you'd get domain authority when you put your your website in. But that's another scheme that is thwarted. Nowadays, you could, if you comment on people's blog, it's more to build a relationship with the person running the blog, and then they get to know you and go, hey, you're a cool person, you're real. And then when you contact them and say, hey, I want to do a guest post, they go, oh, I know you. Okay, I'll let you guest post. So here's an example. So this was one of our links. Kung Fu Monkey. So someone found this random blogspot blog with an article about Mad Men, and then they made a lame comment with an exact match keyword as the name. So someone wrote this random article in 2009, and someone commented, To my mind, one and all should read this. And you'll notice that the comment below was by Escort Tenerife, who also said, it can't succeed in actual fact. That's exactly what I consider. So this means that whoever made these comments was either a robot or an idiot, I was going to say, or someone that didn't speak English. So the thing is, this is so unnatural, it's scary. This is what people used to do in like 2009. And now I think this type of thing has hurt my client, because this is when Google wised up and said, this is a terrible link. It's an unrelated blog. It's a fake comment. It doesn't add anything to the conversation, and it's got a fake name with the keyword in it. So this is the kind of thing you do not want to do. But people are so desperate for links, and they still do this. They will submit spam comments to blogs, and this is from the inside of my blog, and this is what I get all the time. It's just if you start a blog and you get any kind of traffic, you're going to have a filter, because these robots will submit these stupid links where these are comments, and it's like, it's insulting. If you have a blog and someone's trying to basically use you to promote their Cialis website. So again, I don't mean to bitch about it. I'm just saying I run a blog, and this is the type of crap I have to deal with. You have to think of yourself like, what's it like to be a blog owner? So that when you approach them, you're respectful. You understand what they have to deal with. You know, it's like approaching an editor or your favorite author. So nowadays, blog comments are still valuable. Like I said this before, if you actually have something to say, you can get to know the blogger, earn their trust, and add value to the conversation. Like, I don't remember what blog this was on, but I put a lot of thought into this comment. The guy recognizes me, and when I contact him, he says, oh, this is a legitimate person. So, anchor text diversity. Okay, so anchor text diversity. Now, this is all going to come together in a moment. Now, we talked about this before, but this is actually a chart, and I have a link there to this as well, about the kind of distribution you want on your anchor text. Now, this isn't exact. It's just sort of a guideline. So it means, let's say you wanted to rank, like we're doing for steel buildings. They don't want to just use the anchor text with the phrase steel buildings over and over. 18% can be steel buildings, but 16% should be like something like steel buildings for sale, a phrase match. 30% would be the brand, which in our case is Buck Steel, or the name of the company. And then you want a few that just have like your web address, like www.bucksteel.com, and then randomly 16% others. But the point is, remember the old days, this would be like 80%. No, you want to make sure that it's evened out so that it looks natural. Links need to look natural, come from a variety of sources, link diversity. They need to have a variety of anchor text. They need to be do follow for the most part to pass authority. Now, the good news, if you're ethical and you're contributing value to people naturally, it creates this kind of link profile for your site just naturally. It's those guys who go, hey, how can I trick Google, that make terrible links like the ones you've seen. So in a moment, I'm going to go more into the link profiles and finding blogs. But basically, you want to research your competition and find the blog that is ranking highest. And you can check out the sites that they're getting links from, because oftentimes you can get links from the same sites and get ideas and understand your position. So here's an example. Our competitors, ArmstrongSteel.com, see their domain authority is 35 versus 18. They have many more links. Almost no directory links, but they do have a few, and their links are from many different kinds of blogs. And also, they have the right kind of anchor text diversity. See how the most is their name, and then some keywords. And then like their name with some keywords. It looks much more natural to Google. Ours was just too many exact match.